This is going to be a deep one. So, even devotionals, little non-problematic devotionals, we need to read them and think deeply about what they're trying to say to us, okay? There is an acclaimed book, devotional, called The 1 Year Book of Amazing Stories, 365 Days of Seeing God's Hand. And it's written by Robert Peterson. Robert was born from a very young woman who wanted to, he says, abort him, but she didn't. He was then put in the foster care system until he was 12, and then he was adopted. His adopted family then was told that he should be put in mental institutions. He writes devotionals about God and teaches people how to live, and also is a consultant for Hollywood and ministry. I want to be very careful here because I do understand that we're all broken. We've all had trauma, small t's, big t's. We all have, and the Lord's love can heal us and make us whole. I get that. But when you have been so hurt and mentally ill, and then you decide, you know what I'm going to do? Teach people how to live. I almost feel like at some point we should be healing ourselves, getting ourselves whole, then we teach people. I want to read you these 2 pages of the very first part of this book, and I want you to see if you come to the same conclusion as me. I'm going to start reading at the second paragraph. Johann Kuberger was only 5 years old, but when he heard his playmate scream for help, he jumped into the icy waters and pulled him to safety. Little Johann was proclaimed a hero by the local newspaper in the town of Passau. I'm mispronouncing all of these things, I'm aware. No one was surprised when this courageous child grew up to be a priest. Johann Kuberger would spend the rest of his life trying to save those in distress, but saving that childhood playmate from drowning would haunt him to his dying day. A fellow priest, Max Tremmel, revealed that Father Johann spent many sleepless nights obsessing over that rescue in the winter of 1894. Little Johann might have grown up to serve God, but the child he saved went on to become one of history's most diabolical monsters. If only 5-year-old Johann could have seen the future in that split second before he jumped into the river, he might have stopped dead in his tracks. He might have not saved the child at 5. Surely countless millions would have been spared terror and death if only little Adolf Hitler had drowned that day. Hitler often reminisced about his childhood games of cowboy on the banks of the Inn River, but he never mentioned the near drowning. He wasn't about to spoil the Nazi myth of a Superman Führer by admitting that he had been saved by a future priest of a religion he despised. Yet reporters have uncovered the story of his rescue from old files in Passau. A recent program on Bavarian radio got folks thinking, what if Hitler had drowned? Every act has consequences. We can never know what the future will do with our decisions and actions. Sadly, Father Johann wasted far too many nights second-guessing himself. Ultimately, we cannot control the outcomes of our acts, but we can worry too much. Maybe you're filled with regrets or bitterness for the painful consequences of yesterday's choices. Or perhaps you hesitate making decisions today for fear of how they will play out tomorrow. You might find some freedom from the paralysis of analysis if you remember this. Do the best you can do and leave the results to God. Commit your actions to the Lord and your plans will succeed. Proverbs 16:3. Do you hear what I just read? On one hand, he's saying that little Johann was a hero for saving this drowning little boy. And then on the other hand, he's saying, but maybe he shouldn't have, because that boy became Hitler. The fact that he was 5 saving another child is a beautiful thing, regardless of what said child ended up doing with his life. Seems very contradictory. And then, but the Lord, don't worry, because the Lord is in control. And yet, Priest Johann, this author wanted to tell us that Priest Johann worried his whole life. If you are a baby Christian and you have anxiety or fears or things of that nature, after reading this devotional, how would you feel? Horrible. I wouldn't want to make any decisions after reading this, because even a beautifully hearted priest that made the most beautiful life decision for himself and another human being, it was wrong. It was a wrong decision. He should have just let that boy go under, and then it would have saved countless lives. I have a major problem with that devotional. It makes me angry inside. And I want you, even when you're reading your non-problematic devotionals, I want you to really think, really delve down into what that author is trying to teach you. This author is trying to teach you fear and anxiety. And maybe actions have consequences, and you don't want to step out. You know what? You step out, Peach. You step out and be bold. You protect human life. That ain't have nothing to do with you, what Hitler ended up doing. And you stay in your own mother effing lane, and you help the people that fall in front of you, and you keep it moving. And you know that God is walking right beside you, lifting the people with you, and loving you every single second of your life. That's what I want to tell you. If you do not know who the triune God truly is and wants for you and everyone else, which is to love you and to be with you and to be a part of your life. If you do not know that, do not start writing books and going on circuits telling me, trying to teach me, because you don't even have the basis of true knowledge and companionship with the triune God. Okay, love you, bye.